Glad to know you're still with us. Despite years of reforms, interventions, and regulatory shifts, Nigeria's power sector remains mired in inefficiencies. Chief among them, the persistent metering gap, poor customer experience, bickering over the implementation of the Electricity Act 2023, and deep-rooted liquidity challenges. With 46% of active electricity users still unmetered and just over 11.7 million active customers in the country of over 200 million, concerns continue to mount around accountability, pricing, and access. Today, we dig into the structural cracks in Nigeria's electricity value chain, from unresolved metering issues and estimated billing to the ongoing tensions between state regulators, DISCOs, and NERC. Yakubu Lawal, Chairman, Editorial Board of EnergyTimes, joins me for more on this. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning to you too. I mean, we're talking 46% of Nigeria's active electricity users remaining unmetered despite several intervention schemes and assurances. Could you talk to us about this? Why is that happening?
Thank you very much. Well, it's happening because it's a program that is not pursued to its logical conclusion. Why am I saying that? We've had several interventions. We have several programs. For instance, we have presidential initiative on metering. We also have a national mass metering program, and a lot of money voted for it. But at the end of the day, what we have is that these programs are not pursued in terms of implementing it to its logical conclusion. That's why we now find a situation where sometimes we hear that there's free distribution of meters, and when you get to discourse, they will tell you nothing like that. You will go to some places, they'll say, okay, come and pay so much. And actually, this meters being procured on intervention fund are supposed to be distributed free, but we are not getting it. And it seems to me that the NERC is not actually pursuing or following up with the discourse to ensure that they comply with the idea of metering everybody. I can recall that when Fashola was Minister of Power, every meeting he had with stakeholders in those days, everybody gives all the discourse, give report of how many customers they were able to meter in a particular month. So somebody was keeping track of their record at that point in time. But since the stakeholders of Nigeria energy supply industry took over, I don't think that those monitoring were being carried out as it were. So that's why I discovered that, like, then the NERC report saying that only 13 point something people customers were metered last year by August. I mean, as at last year, August. And out of 13 point something million that were registered, they could only meter 6.5 million customers. And we have a deficit of almost 7 million that were not metered. Don't forget that we also have so many customers that are not even captured in the process.
Right,
So
let me come in here. Right. I mean, I like that you've already taken us where we're going. While the focus actually is on, the 46% metering gap, I think we have a bigger fish to fry, and I guess you were already going there. And that is the number of active electricity customers, which is put at 11,700,422. Don't you think that is abysmal, or is there an explanation for that?
Yeah, if you say abysmal, I agree with you. You are saying 11 point something million now. From the record of NERC, they are telling us 13 point something million. And in Nigeria, data is a problem for us. We don't have data. We don't have means of getting accurate data in whatever we are doing. So everybody is guessing, right? So that's the problem we have. And if we are having deficit, and they know that metering is key to efficient distribution, utilization, and even revenue collection of electricity, then I think that there will be need or deliberate attempt to follow it to later. More also, we discovered that we have some indigenous companies that manufacture or assemble meters in Nigeria. But the feelers getting to some of us is that these people are not well patronized. That's why we're waiting to import this thing from abroad. And we know all this one takes time and following all sorts of bureaucracy, delays here and there. So I'm sure that if there's deliberate attempt by the government to ensure that everybody is metered, then they can engage the local manufacturers or assemblers so that they can get this product available. So that you not go to a disco asking to get meter and they tell you it's not available. That has always been the story, which is rather unfortunate.
You know, still talking about metering, I remember, there are people who have other stories to tell. The meters were brought to their estate or their residences, but they couldn't connect, the UIU to the meters for reasons unknown, and then they had to call their, discos to come check. At the end of the day, nobody seems to know what is happening, and these people have had to resort to either estimated billing or revert to the old meters. What exactly is happening? Is it that we also have the issue of technical know-how? Do we also lack that? Because I'm not just giving an example. This is something that happened where I reside, so I'm not just giving examples, just just numbers and all of that. What do you think is the issue here?
For me, I think since metering is a function central to discos, I think discos should be allowed to take control of metering. Intervention from either federal government or whatever, that shouldn't have been the issue. The discos should be able to know that, okay, it is my responsibility to meter my customer because I want to boost my revenue base. I also want to provide stable power supply to my customers. So on the basis of that, they should be able to do the necessary energy audit with the customers that they are going to meter. And on the basis of that, of course, because this is a private-driven companies, nobody should tell them the importance of technology. So they should be able to also train people that will be able to, do the necessary connection without any glitches. Unfortunately, what we experience in post-privatization is that most discos employ the services of other contract staff that are not committed to the job. And there are so many other staff that maybe they are on temporary appointment or engagement. So you cannot expect these people to put their best into the services. So if you employ people that are qualified, they are your staff, they know that they have obligation to the job you have employed them for, definitely you get results. But not in a situation where you just put people on contract, staffing, and whatever. Your efficiency of your services will suffer. And
okay.
That is the case of what we are talking about now.
All right, Mr. Lawal, let's move away from the metering issue now. Let me get your thoughts on the bickering between EERC, DISCOs, and even NERC's intervention, because NERC has argued that states do not have regulatory power to fix electricity prices when the power is generated and transmitted from the national grid. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I think I'm in line with the NERC position on that, because the essence of reform is to encourage investment and at the same time ensure that there's the efficient service delivery. So I don't see a situation where a state regulatory agency or commission will just come on board and interfere with the existing tariff. Of course, if you are looking at it from populist point of view, many people will hail it. But if you are looking at it from economic point of view and the kind of investment government intend to bring into the sector, I think that sector is wrong. But by and large, the man in Enugu is somebody that is very well known in the power sector. He has been there. I think he just wanted to test water from my own point of view, and all these reactions are coming. And you should also understand that since this reform program started, there is this deliberate effort by NERC, and I expect the state NERC to also follow suit to engage customers. They have regular interaction, the stakeholders meeting, where some of these issues are discussed before you take a decision. You don't just jump into taking a decision when we are not the one producing the power. The power is being produced, has only been sent to a grid. So the issue is that they need collaboration. Recently in Ghana, the current government in Ghana introduced what is called 247 economy, 24 hours economy rather. This 24 hours economy has power as one of the key issues that the government wants to resolve. And in resolving those issues, they did not forget the fact that they need to bring in stakeholders, the IPP, producers, the independent power producers, and other key stakeholders to dialogue and see how the issue, because just like it's happening in Nigeria, customers in Ghana are also complaining of high tariff. So on the basis of that, the Ministry of Energy in Ghana is taking it upon itself to bring all the stakeholders together and be able to have a common ground that all of them can buy into. So I think the need for...
Okay, I want us to look at what the EERC has said. I mean, on the part of the State Energy Regulatory Commission, it insists that the cost of delivering electricity from the national grid to main power via EEDC has been accommodated in full. It also says the order ensures that main power recovers all its efficient costs and makes a reasonable return in its business of providing electricity services to citizens of the state. If this was done, should there still be an issue? Is it the case that Nigerians are being made to pay for inefficiencies of government or some other person, stakeholders within the power distribution network?
Well, I will look at one, Enugu Electricity Regulatory Commission possibly acted without carrying along maybe the national body in terms of having a discussion with them. And if they had been able to convince them, I know that something that will be acceptable to all will have been put in place. Don't forget that that action of Enugu Electricity Regulatory Agency sent the wrong signal to investors. We are not, that's why I said earlier that if you are talking of populist idea, yes, everybody will hear the idea that, yes, they have done well and what we are paying less now and whatever. But at the same time, it sent the wrong signal. Wrong signal as to inconsistency in government policies. We are not talking of Enugu alone now, we are talking of national. So on the basis of that, I would have ordinarily expected that there's supposed to be a dialogue, there's supposed to be a discussion.
Mr. Lawal, I understand you're talking about dialogue and all of that, and you're talking about, what signal this is sending to investors. But I'm looking at the fact that EERC has made a claim, and the claim is that they did due diligence and they discovered that at the end of the day, the cost has been recovered, and there is also room for some form of profit for the DISCO. So why should this be an issue? Is it the case that maybe there are some persons who do not want this decentralization of a thing to really work? Because when we hear decentralization, when we hear that the EA 2023 is being implemented, a lot of us thought that, okay, maybe states will begin to do certain things to attract more investors, into their states or make things better for their own customers. What exactly is happening here?
You see, the issue is that this goes back to earlier point. If Enugu regulatory agency, they've done their due diligence and their calculation and what have you, then what next should are they not supposed to carry the other stakeholder along? And when I mean the other stakeholder, somebody gave them permission, somebody gave them that freedom. So you cannot just take a unilateral decision, because the whole essence of reform upon reform, both from 2005 to 2023 to the current one that is being done, is to ensure that at least we get it right, because we are moving from a situation where nobody cares. Before, all we know is that government should provide power, to a situation where we are now having investors or private individual to come and drive this process. And for any investor, it's not there to do Father Christmas for you and I. Okay? So they are there to make their profit, although not to kill the consumer by giving them excessive tariff. But what we are saying is that if there's a dialogue between Enugu and NERC in Abuja, I'm sure they will understand their position. Assuming we have so many states now that have been licensed to, have been given autonomy to regulate electricity in their region. Problem differently will continue to crop up, but the way forward is to resolve it, because this is a new area we're all going into. It's not something that we are used to.
Okay.
Even the tariff thing we are talking about, we're all feeling the impact of being on Band A. We all know that. You and I know we travel abroad. The way we use electricity in Nigeria, that's how we use it there. So maybe high tariff will help us to manage our electricity efficiently, and that will be better for all of us. Certainly, this intervention from government cannot continue. You and I know that.
All right,
so that's the issue.
Mr. Lawal, I totally understand the need for cost-reflective tariff and all of those things, but we also have to understand that Nigerians will not continue to pay for inefficiencies. The federal government owns 40% of these discos. We can go on and on and on to talk about the issues in Nigeria's power industry, but we're short of time and we have to go now. Maybe some other time we'll get you to also comment on some other issues in the power sector. Thank you so much, Mr. Yakubu Lawal, Chairman, Editorial Board of EnergyTimes, and Chairman, Society of Energy Editors. Thank you for your time on Business Edge today.
Thank you very much.